Hey everybody, Eric Meyer. We have a treat today. I got some great data from Dan LaSalle at NCM. He's running with a group at NCM, Tokyo Binge Tokyo. I apologize. I don't know the name of the group. No disrespect to you. Find groups at Tokyo. Um, but I know they got some good laps, and this is from this year, just mid March, early March, I believe, mid March, 2020. So let's get started. I've already looked at Dan's data for maybe 5 minutes or so, and I realize he's a very good driver, and therefore we're going to have to jump into this. We can see right here that he is rocking a GT3 RS, right? And there we go, NCM. So let's open that bad boy up in Track Attack, my favorite analysis software. Let's talk about a few things real quick. Usually double click on this and see if there's any notes in here. And it might say something, rain, sticker tires, uh, bad spark plugs. Wow, I had a noise and had a new brake pads. It might be something wonky. A lot of traffic. This is really helpful if you want your data analyzed to put notes in here. Um, do it. Do it. I usually hit this recalculate GPS times. Why? I don't know. It feels right. Okay. So as we always remember, right here in bold is the Zinger lap time. I'm seeing this right here, right now. Whoopsie. Get off of there, Jack. I'm seeing this right now, and my spidey sense says, oh, he got some good laps, and then he probably ran into some traffic right here. A guy running 211s at NCM, you're running down people. I know you are. And often the quality of your lap times is directly related to the group that you run with. You got people that don't pass very well, you're not getting good lap times. You might get a couple. Um, Therefore, you might have to go out on a Wednesday, either like the Wednesday market, the Tuesday, the Thursday track market when there's nobody out there, because you want to get good laps. I'll suggest to you that there are groups out there that are insanely fast and are wicked in traffic, and they do not hose up your lap times. And it's DE. There are very few, but they're out there. I'll leave it at that. Okay. First thing we're going to do is we're going to configure our screen. Everybody knows from the beginner videos that I really like that one and I really like that one. Right here is what I have. I really want this one, distance, and I'll show you in a second. If you have a bunch of these channels and it's overly populated, because I like this track map to be way up here, I can either do that, right? Or I can go down there and get rid of all those channels. I really want speed and distance, with distance being really the key thing. Because we're looking for tenths here, guys. We're looking for tenths. And because we're looking for tenths, you have to know the basics of data, which are these three right here. And I cover them in like every single one of the videos that I do, every single one of the beginner data videos that I do. It's those threes right there. If you don't know those and you're watching this video, stop, go back, watch something else. This is more advanced. This one right here, I'll suggest to you, is understanding that it's 50% of the data. 50, right? Add this one right here, and now those two combined are 80. Sorry, hard to do with my software. 80%, two channels. Okay, let's get started. We want to, we're going to maximize this thing up here. We're going to maximize this thing up here. We're going to take a look at that. Ooh, that red is hard to see. You can kind of see that little icon. I'm going to do a little trick right here. The reason why this is red over here in the right side excuse me, the reason why this is red over here in the right side is sort of a default. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to use this feature right here. I'm going to make this black. Notice this is red here and red here and also red here. We're going to change this because this green contrasts with the red. I don't really care for that. So I'm going to use a lighter color. I'm going to use close to white there in the center, which is over here. You can see that right here. Right, and hit OK. Now it's a little easier to see over here for me, maybe not for you, and it's very easy to see here. I'm also going to, yeah, that works. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to go back to here too. I like that. I already know what the track is. If you need that, great. If you're good, you can do it without. You don't need that. And if you're also good too, you can do without video. There's a point in beginner data analysis that you really need video to put things together to understand what the heck all this is. But then you'll get good enough to do it without. If I had it on here, I would love it. It would be easier to show Dan and all of you what's happening, especially audio. Having an audio, good audio channel of the motor, not wind motor. Not wind motor. So put your mic, if you have a remote mic, somewhere where you don't get wind. And I just want to hear the RPM. RPM is the same thing as listening to that channel right there on the acceleration portion. Right? When you go to throttle, you hear it. That's why you want to use it. It's really key. It's really key for that audio channel, especially if you're a if you're audio-based learner, which you might be if you like to listen to music or you're a musician. Often those folks like to have an audio channel. So if you're a musician right now and you don't have video, actually you want the audio in the video channel because often a musician will hear more things than other people will. Conversely, if you're a visual learner, you want video. You want video. You want video. Okay, so as we always do, we're going to start with a dive. I don't know if you guys can see that. Oh, wow, I never realized that. So I'm going to have to go back to this. I'm going to have to go back to change this color. Let's do this dark blue. Actually, let's do this green. There we go. Can't see that. I need some more contrast. Something darker down here. There we go. Should be able to see the flashlight. There we go. So we're going to see something. I see a little bend right here. I see this right here. If you don't know this from, if you don't know what I'm talking about right now, this is over your head. Go back and watch any of my other 50 beginner emails where we'll talk about this. This is the shape. Shape is more important than the value. If you're looking at this and going, dude, I hit 140, and that's great, but that has jack to do with how to get faster. So this is what I see right here. I see this, and I see this. And it's a little bit rounded too. So it comes up, it kind of rounds, and it goes like this, and it goes like this. So we're going to look at that. That's a little clue. We're going to validate that. We're going to validate that really like this right here. Again, if you don't understand what I'm talking about, you need to go back and watch other videos. This is going to be over your head. Seriously, just, I see that right there. I see this little guy right here. I think he has a PDK box, gearbox, which is the best OEM dual clutch box on the market, hands down. Oh, I see another one of these. I see another one of these right here that looks like that. That is a big clue right there. So see that little dippity-doo right there and that little dippity-doo. Take a look at that. There might be some opportunity right there because we're only going 90 miles an hour. I think that would be the ape right here. I think we're talking about right here. Okay, there's another thing. That almost looks like a tiny little another one. Let's take a closer look. Yeah, it is. See that? Just barely. You might think I'm splitting hairs, but this is where you find time when you're looking for tenths, guys. And again, if this doesn't make sense, what that means is you don't know the fundamentals yet. And I'm saying that respectfully because you don't, because I do this a lot. See something that might be there, see a little squiggly there, look at that. We want to understand that, and I see a couple things, right? I see a couple things. Now this might be corner dependent, we'll have to look, but ideally what we'd want to see is this, I'm going to exaggerate, and this straight down, not this angle. What this means is right here, that part right there is over the distance that we're traveling, which looks like about right there, we're not dropping a lot of speed. We're only dropping there to there. What we want, ideally, and we can't do this, is this. This would be like ideal. Way up here, I'm going to draw something I may really exaggerate. And wouldn't it be great if we could drop all this speed, right? This frickin' zillion miles an hour in no distance. In other words, no distance this way. That's really what we want to do. How much can we be effective in a minimum amount of time? You know, just like this. Wouldn't it be great if from this distance to this distance, let's figure out what that is. And this distance right here, let's open this up a little more. There we go. From 92, wouldn't it be great if from 9250 to 9500 we could do this and go 120 versus whatever that is, 71. Yeah. So what we're trying to do is get a ton done in not much distance, right? And when you see something like this that goes like this, then there might be a reason for it. Honest, there might be a reason for it. We'll look at the track, but the desired shape ideally looks more like this. I'm gonna exaggerate a little bit. And all this area underneath here is our opportunity, and could be tenths and multiple tenths and all those tenths, especially in a lot of corners. 23 corners add up to what could be seconds. Haha. There we go. There's a little bit of this right here. Oops, hang on. Sometimes my software kicks off, my little annotation software. There's a little bit of this right here. Oh, my damn software. I got one of those Wacom tablets coming today. There's a little bend right here. There's a little bit of this. Again, could be explanations for that. We're going to look at it. We're going to look at it. There's another one right there. I see this. I see this. I see a rounded one here. I see a rounded one right here. Versus this is more of an attack, if you see that. And again, could be corner related. There's that more attack. You know, doing more in less amount of time. Doing more in less amount of time, or less distance actually, than this. I'm exaggerating. Dan, looks like your car's super fast, and you're like everybody else. You're going so quick that you're going, man, I want to be really gentle on the brakes. Your car is wicked fast, GT3 RS with your aero, and you have opportunity in the brakes, my man. And why do I say that? Almost everybody that is a really good amateur grassroots driver is careful in the brakes. They got a big expensive car, has a lot of capability, and there's more in the brakes. Why do I say that? Here is the next thing. Actually, let's do a quick summary first. Quick summary. We had this thing here, which didn't really mean anything until I saw this one here and said, ooh, that's 2 times. And then I saw this one here at 3 times, right? There might be one here, not quite sure. But these have a couple things in common. This shape usually happens at the top. There's actually one there too. At faster speeds, and you can see here's 100. One of them happened over 100, another over 100, another over 100. Anything over 100, it's not the magic number. It just happens to be there. This shape typically happens at higher speeds. That's why we're going there. That's why we're going there. Okay, so I got something to look at. Right? Using the basic big 3 review techniques, which are this one right here. 50% of data analysis, in my opinion, has to do with looking at that. Roger Cadell calls that the money channel. That's just why this is on here and the only thing that's on here. I want it real nice and big. I want this area to dominate the screen. I don't want this because you can't see it, right? You're even looking for it. Where is it right now, right? Where the heck is the speed trace on here right now? It's not even on here, right? Look at that. Not even on here. So I'm going to get rid of all this jazz. We can use it later. And I'll make this a series of a couple videos. Really the prerequisite is you have to understand beginner. So let's keep going. If I didn't mention it already, I'm looking right here, and it looks like his first zinger laps, he might have been first on grid, and he got some good laps, and maybe he got some traffic in here. Likely traffic. It's hard to get good laps when you're running with the DE crowd, many of which have fast cars and not fast talent. Okay, we're going to use these two. My favorite. Together, I'll suggest to you this is 80%. You know this from watching beginner videos. 80% of data. So this is our feet. We already found these things up here. Those things I said that are over 100. We're going to go dive into that a little bit. And the way we're going to dive into that is to use this channel right here. Excuse me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up a little bit like that. And I'm going to go, what's up with that? Now, in order for this analysis to work, you typically got to have a couple corners that you do well. I'm talking you, the driver, and a couple corners that are usually faster that you're not doing so well to make the comparison really easy. Again, we're not lap comparing. We're just individual looking at data, right? Looking at your own data. If you got somebody else driving your car, which is preferred, that's super fast, get somebody that's faster than you, and you want their data. So here's what I see right now, and I expected to see it. So for this area right here, I'm going to get rid of this color and go blue. All right, there we go. For this area right here, here's what I see. I see an easy application of the brake. I see a kind of a kink right there. And you need a good screen to see that. And if I go over here and look at this, this is a better looking shape. This is more rounded, right? This is a little more pointed. I see this. I see, boom, commitment, bah, right? What I see here is like, do, 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 da. And this is actually more steep. The slope is more up and down, and this one's a little more sideways. I didn't say that right. If you're an engineer, I apologize. This is more steep than that, right? This is more up and down. This is not so much up and down. You got to learn to see this. This is key. You got to learn to see this. This is key. And it looks like this right here is some lift of the throttle right here. A couple things I also want to show you right here. Look at the frickin' acceleration that this sucker is getting. 0.55. Holy smokes. That is huge. That's massive. Over here, same. This thing pulls like a freight train. It's probably got a really high apex score. Apex score will reward a car that pulls really hard off of the corner. Give it a couple higher points. Same way with top speed and aero. Dan probably has a really high apex score. Actually, let's take a look since this is kind of advanced. This is apex data. Let's see what. No, I can't see that here. I have to use the Apex Pro iOS software. I'll find out after this. So there's what we see. We see this, and if we saw this right here, we probably see it right here and right here. So let's go look at that as well. And we kind of see that here as well. Here's the opportunity, guys, right there. It's that little guy. It's that little guy right here. We're traveling so quickly that there is a opportunity to we're covering a lot of ground in just a tenth of a second. Okay, now I'm going to look at right here, and you're probably going to go, oh, look, there's another one. But I know a little bit about the track, and so it's hard to see this because we'd have to put some lateral G's in here. But in this particular case, Dan's going around in a corner. So, right? And he's probably got a lot of lateral G's in here, which we'll look at in a second. You see it right here? He's going to be right here, going around this bend. Which is why this shape looks like this, because he's also turning. He's also turning. So, no point deduction, if you will, because you really can't do this, right? Because of this corner right here. If you haven't been there before, it's a flat corner, and you're getting a big run out of here. You're really rocking, and it comes in, and you're going to park the car right here. This is the slowest corner on the track, so this is understandable. He's trying to get as much speed till he gets to this turn 10 right here, which is everybody's least favorite. It wouldn't be surprised if that's the slowest corner on the track too. Looky there, slowest corner on the track, right? 35 or so, something like that, maybe 35. Okay, so let's look at this one up here, right? That same shape. Ooh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. Boom. Let's open that up a little bit more. Take a look at that more closely. Take a look at that more closely. Ah, we're just scrubbing off a little bit of speed. And it looks like he's doing super great. This is some uphill as well. Oh, but look at that. This is a little double brake action. So he's braking once, right? Coming off, and then he's braking again. Dan, I would encourage you, this is where we get into the coaching portion. I would encourage you to see if you can redistribute this effort right here, this double, and do a double, but see if you can get to this upper portion right here and do more, carry more speed here, right here. Oh, where you go to the brakes the first time, see if you can carry a little more speed here, which will get you here, then do that braking to get you to here. You're just looking for 1 or 2 miles an hour. Your car's got wicked aero. It's a GT3 Porsche. It should be one of the best cars going into this corner right here. It is the talent of the car. It's the capability of the car. So what I would like to recommend that you do is to do something like this. And I'm just going to, right, break a little bit less right here and still do the same thing here. Actually, there's always more, so I'm going to do that, right? Actually, let's do this. Let's go a little more and do that and do that. I'm exaggerating a bit. Really talking about just a couple miles an hour. Your car can do it. And we'll examine the line in a second. Okay. Oh, looky there. This tells us a lot too. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're overslowing for that, dude. See how much throttle you can go to? 0.3. You are accelerating. This isn't just planning the ass of the car. You are accelerating, and that's an indication that you've overslowed, because you can go to that much throttle. In fact, look at that. If you look at this right here, you're actually punching it because you overslowed. Then you're probably getting understeer, if I had to guess. And so you let off to let the nose come down, and then you go back to some throttle. And it's just a light lift. And that all started because of this down here, which makes you want to go to throttle, which makes you want to go, oh man, whoops. Now, this is why you need this channel and understand it right here, because it's very hard to see. There's a little bit of nibble in there. That's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for, because everybody does it. Actually, you can see it right here. Okay. All right, let's keep going. This is one of my favorite corners right here. If you can carry all this speed up through here, and I'm looking here, this is my favorite corner. Everybody always has time there. I'm like, no, you don't. No, I don't. I'm awesome. No, you don't. Okay, so here we go. Here's that little guy right here where we give it a whole bunch of throttle versus only a little bit. If we were going as fast as possible, we'd only have the ability to give it a little bit of throttle. Dan, you're using the motor too much. Look at that acceleration rate right there. Okay, so here's what I want to see. Here's what I'm looking for. This corner right here is cambered and as fast as, look, it is super fast. I'm going to zoom down on there and see it. I usually find everybody time here. And one of the things that makes it so fast, open this up right here. Does everybody know where we're at? One of the things that makes it so fast is you're carrying so much speed through here that you only have to brake enough to get through here. In other words, there's no reason to go a zillion to over brake the car and go back to throttle. Why the hell would you want to do that? Dan, I'm not calling you out. This is everybody has this, and a lot of people have it in spades. So what we're looking for right here is he going back to throttle? And if so, how much? Because this is cambered, it's fast. This is the biggest lat G load type corner, other than the wacky stuff that you can get in the sinkhole, which is a little different because of all the vertical rise. But this should be your highest lat G high speed corner. This one right here should be your highest lat G corner because it's really slow down here. You see that? This one's pretty high too, coming out of accelerating. This one right here should be trailing that in, getting a big friction circle. Okay. Go back to that. Go back to that. Okay, so we're going to look at that corner. And we're going to go here. Okay, I'm going to break this up into, we're still doing the beginner analysis. So if you don't understand this, go back and watch videos. Seriously, go back and watch videos. You're not qualified. No soup for you. You're voted off the island. So we're looking right here, and here's what I want to do. You really want to get down in here because we want to see, and actually I'm going to open this thing up big time right here. I want you to see this. Looks like the GPS data lines up pretty well. It's off just a little bit. It's awful close. Man, it's awful close. This is the scenario right now, and assuming this is data, I would get farther over here on entry and actually use those bumps to, believe it or not, to start turning the car. That sounds weird. Okay, so here's what we want to do. Here's the apex. Right in there, right? Where are we at? Where's our little blue dot? Where are you at, little rascal? Little rascally rabbit. Where's our cursor on the track? Where's our cursor on the track? Where are you? There you are. There you are. Right there. So we're going to zoom in on that. Right? Just to show everybody where we're at again, right? Oops, I picked the wrong corner. We're up here. Apologies, got mixed up here. Still on the right corner. There's our apex. Here's where you want to be, out here, right, to turn the car. If you can open up the wheel and get out here, we really want to think about how do we get around that deal and just rock it out all the way down. Should be using all the track out right here in the rumble strips. There is time here. There is time here. I wouldn't be surprised if doing this right is worth a half a second. Yes, I said a half a second. There's that much grip right here. There's that much grip right here. And a lot of people overslow right here. Okay, so here we go. We got our apex on or about there. Let's find our, back to our, find our little icon right there. Where are you at on the track, my brother? Oh, we're down here. There we go. Okay. There we are. So what we're looking at is what's happening right here. So here's what I see. I see we're coming down right here. Right? I'm looking at these things right here. And these things right here. Okay? With that being the apex. Here's what I like. And I really like this. But we need more information. If there's the apex right here, that's where Dan's going to throttle. Okay? That's where Dan's going to throttle. What I see right here is what I see right here is a really long space until he goes to throttle of running the same speed. So from right there, and he's probably putting some wheel into it, not much. From right there, he's going the same speed. And what that generally means is you can take that brake zone down just a little bit farther. I would be over here, Dan, farther. And again, I think these GPS lines are pretty close. Looks like they have to be shifted that way a little bit because of that, right? But that means there's more opportunity there. So I would be really getting this dude over here like really big time to come around it to carry 2 more miles an hour, which ends up being about 3 miles an hour right here, which ends up being 4/10 of a second, 3 to 4/10 of a second. I mean, that's what we're looking for, right? I got to think you're wanting a 210.9. Knowing you, what little I know about you, you want to break a 210. You want a 210.99999. just like everybody else. You go home happy. Put the car on the trailer. So that's what I'm seeing when I see that, because there's always more there. All right, that's interesting. There's a little bit of brake. You know what? There isn't brake right here. And the reason I say that, this has got to be wheel scrub on the turn in, and we don't see it right here. All right, we don't see a decrease in speed. So when you see that right there, that's going to be 70 mile an hour, uh, cambered, turn in, wheel scrub, aero drag, not adding throttle, and it's going to look like this. This is Mother Nature of the tire scrub and the aero drag giving you this symbol right here. Okay? Again, we're just looking at the tops of these, right? Remember? All the beginner stuff. All the beginner stuff. If you don't understand this, go back and look at some beginner data. And I think that's about all we had when we were looking at up here. Yeah. Looking through here. Okay. So I see something else that's really interesting. He's going so fast that he has to brake a lot. Dan, I'm going to tax your gig, bro. Right there, 1.24. A Miata can do that. Negative 1.2 brake-in. A Miata can do that. Dude, you got aero when you're going fast. You should be getting 1.4s and up. This is why I've seen some of your videos, and one of my other buddies, and I won't mention him, Kevin, is catching you in the brake zone because he's attacking his brake pedal more, and he's getting more out of this. Should be down in here, brother. Should be down in here with your car. This probably explains why your entries are really nice and your lat G is really high. I know that because I've already looked at it, and I'll show you in a second. It's at the expense of not attacking the brake pedal enough, deeper in the zone. So guess what? You can get in the 210s easy just by using the brakes better, which, by the way, is where everybody can get better. And we're going to go down that road. Remember, here and here is 80% of finding time and 80% of beginner data. Okay, we're going to finish the GPS, and then what we're going to do later is we're going to get into some split times and this XY plot, maybe into some minimum values to show you some neat features. I'm not a big histogram guy. Some people are. I'm not. And if I remember right, we also have some other neat channels that we're going to break into. Nope, we don't have throttle position. Don't have the OBD. 2, I would recommend getting that. It's inexpensive. I think they're actually going on sale in the near future. I think they're $1.49. That'll get you some great channels, including this one too. Okay, we'll do inverse corner radius later. We're going to add lat of the big 3, and then we're going to stop there, and we're going to do part 2 and probably part 3 of these videos. So I like putting lat on top right here, as you see, speed in the middle, longitudinal on the bottom. You can see GPS, 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 they're all the same. They're not this one or this one or this one, right? These right here are actually the the global coordinates, right? Of where you're at on the planet, one of those deals. So make sure you don't get those. Okay, we got the big 3, and here's what I'm seeing right now. Look at you go right here. Getting a lot out of that car. Look at that right there. So what's that value? Look at that 1.5 lateral spike. That as well. And look where it's at, guys. Right here. Now look at over at the track map. Right here, I'm going to do that again. Look where you're getting that. You dog, this is great. You are getting a lot out of the car laterally at speed at 91 miles an hour, right? 1.4, 90 miles an hour, going back to throttle in a high speed area. So you're not shy about coming in and loading the car up laterally with the wheel. Where your opportunity is before that. So before you get to um, uh, full lat G, I already know this because I just know this. I'm going to just say it out loud. This is more of an advanced beginner. It's really more of an intermediate analysis. So your opportunity in the friction circle is going to be in taking the friction circle farther down. In other words, right here, farther down here. Yeah, see that right there? Yeah, that should be like down here. But we'll talk about that in another video. Right now, well, let's finish up with lateral and see what we're doing here. And again, I'm going to blow it up. And I'm looking through here. There's a spike right there, and it falls off. And right there, again, I'm just following this along. Actually, I'll use this one. Might be a little easier. And right here, a big 1.5. Interesting. That's a note for the next video. I'm looking through here, and I'm looking through here, and I'm looking through here. Really looking at big values and changes. That is interesting. That is a spike right there. How you get that is turning the wheel and spiking it. Look right here. The apex is about here. And you, right? See that? You are spiking it before that. Boo, bad. Opportunity. That's okay. There's always opportunity in fast cars right there on that corner every single time. Just like there is right here and right here. Almost always. Almost always. Almost always. You're normal. Raise your hand. I, Daniel, am normal. Okay. Looking up here some more. We're almost done with this video. Just another couple minutes. Let's see where I'm at on track. Okay, this is interesting. Right here. Right here. Way more G load potential. Interesting. Make a note of that in the future. Okay, looking good. Looking good. Actually, I want to see right here. Actually, I want to see right going through here. I take this and have a different belief about this corner than most folks. I want to tell you real quick. I'm sorry this video is so long. Yes, I know this is probably this GPS trace is probably off a little bit, so it's not fair to look at the line. It's looking pretty close. Usually I like to see where it goes off track and then thinking about adjusting it. It looks pretty close to where the line goes. Yeah, I'll say that's pretty darn close. But what I like to do is this. When there's a straight shot through here, which means you're driving to the corner, and you're usually punching it so the speed's going up. Wait, look, it's not. We're only going fast from here to here. We're only accelerating from here to here. I'll suggest to you, start turning this sucker. Don't fix your eyes right here. Fix your eyes over here and start bringing that sucker farther this way so you can come around this corner. This isn't the priority, which most people think in a series of corners that are really compound corners. Most people go, gotta maximize, gotta maximize, gotta maximize. Guys, here is the run. That's the run where you want to maximize. Look at the top speed along here, right? 104. Look at the top speed right in here. 84 or 72, right? You want to do this for longer. You want to get off this corner, and I'll suggest to you get farther over this way and do this, and then come, I'm exaggerating, and start your straight way back here and go, what's up? Because we all know that there's nothing worse than rushing this and going, oh man, I got a lift to come back around, and you've hosed up the corner. You take this too early and you're toast. You do it right and you get farther over here and you just rock through here like crazy. And your next problem, quite honestly, becomes, holy cow, how do I deal with this freaking braking zone? How do I deal with that braking? This should be the problem. You should make this the problem, which is the same thing as opportunity. Okay, we're halfway around. We're almost done with the video here. Let me go back to here so we can see it all. What kind of lat G's are we seeing in here? 1, 2, 4. Do that a little bit. Should be a really high lat G right here. I think you're probably, nope, I'm going to withhold judgment. Right here, we want a big old freaking gigantic lat G load here as we're for deception. We want to come out of here and we want to go as hard as we can, turning the wheel hard, almost violently autocross style, to the left and then the same way to the right. This is a violent corner. I'm going to suggest you get over here, turn that sucker like a rascal. I meant to say fucker. Turn that dude like a fucker. And get a ton of lat G's. Most people think about still going straight. I really want you guys to think about how much can I flick the car this way and this way. Why is that important? Because this is one of the longest straights on the damn track. Right there, right? We need to get out of this like a bitches. We need to get out of here like a monster. And then go make this the problem, right? There's a couple 3/10 right there. Yeah, I said 3/10. Okay. Going down through here. Going down through. Again, if this doesn't make sense to you, it's because you need to do more beginner foundation. If you're just tuning into this and you go, I'm an advanced driver, I'm awesome, I'm going to watch this, I'm going to sign up for the fastest freaking run group because I'm awesome. Well, shut up. Be humble. Learn some data. Go watch the basic beginner videos. And then you'll know what the heck's going on right here. Yeah, this will help you right here when we talked about opening up the wheel a bit. So keep in it. Keep in it right here and make this a little bit hairier. Remember, you got arrow and you can use it right there. You got a great gearbox. So your downshift, you should be confident right in here. Here is right there. Interesting. This does some has some correlation right here to right here, and I'll tell you about that when we add another channel. Okay, get over here. Almost through. kind of lat G's are we seeing in here, and what's the C's? What do we see here? You can see a spike right here. The reason why you're getting that high value, don't go home and brag to your wife that you're awesome, is because that's a turn-in spike right there. If you can get more of this load all the way around, I'm exaggerating a little bit. Actually, I am exaggerating because this is probably not achievable right here. That is a spike, so it's probably going to look like this. It's going to be more of this. All right, so it's not going to be as deep as here, but it's going to avoid these two efforts right here. Your engine in the back of your car makes it ideal for moving this dude around, and it's fun as all get out. I would be peaking, having a range of peak in here. So drag that sucker in here big time and be thinking about rotating that car with your eyes way at this front of the curb. Your eyes should not be here. Your head should be turned to the right, and you're looking as far over as here. You'll be interested what you see when you look over there. Okay, really nice coming out of the sinkhole. Look at that. That looks really pretty. That's really pretty. That's really pretty. That's really pretty. That's interesting. We'll look at this in a second on the next video. And we're getting ready to rock it down on the front straight. Dan, killer. Summary for everybody. Number one, watch the beginner videos. If you haven't, this is probably over your head. We looked at this right here. We looked at this right here. We looked at this right here. We saw that the maximum lateral G has greater opportunity right here, which means there is likely opportunity from off brake to apex. And we're going to talk about that next. This channel right there, which is the same as AIM's G-sum. And I can't emphasize enough how, guys, you need to know these three. If I go into the next channel right here to the next video, part 2, you're going to get lost. So go back and use this as a foundation. Go back, and 99% of my videos talk about those three. Go back and watch any of them before this makes sense. Because the really only way you understand this, if you don't know these, is you got to talk somebody through it. And I ask you questions. And I say, does that make sense? Now tell me what you see. And then you're dead silent and you're quiet. So that's it. I'm Eric Meyer. Stay tuned for part 2 of 3 coming up next.